Good morning. This is Joel in Waikiki. I am in my apartment overlooking the mountains. The hills from whence cometh my help. In this temple meditation, the entire point is the raising of one's consciousness until one reaches an elevation from which they look out upon this universe of God and behold only that which God beholds, knows only that which God knows. I look unto the hills from whence cometh my help. I look up into the heightened consciousness, into the consciousness of the Most High. Just as the temple meditation serves to lift us in consciousness to the awareness of God itself, just as it lifts us into the very atmosphere of God, so as we look into the hills, or as we learn to take our silent, quiet walks in the park, in flower gardens, by the river or lake, so do we learn in our aloneness to reach the heights, those very mountains from whence cometh our help. You see, our help comes from the height of our spiritual vision. Our help comes from the degree of our mountaintop experiences. Anything that serves to lift us in consciousness above the clamor of the senses, above the noises of this world, will serve to bring us into an atmosphere of peace. And what do you think that you find when you reach the divine consciousness? When we touch the center of our being, when we reach the divine heights of inspiration, we find God. But we find that it is literally true that God is not a God of battle. God is not a God of power, no more than God is a God of vengeance. as we formerly learned or believed. God is a deep silence. God is a stillness of all that is human. God is not a power. God is a deep well of stillness, of silence, of peace. In quietness and in confidence, we find our strength. In God, we find our strength. For God is quietness, confidence, peace. As we attain the heights of revelation, we find no great powers wrecking and ruining the evil forces of the world. We find there are no evil forces of the world. There is only one being, spirit, one cause, spirit, one activity, spirit, one life, the soul of you and the soul of me. There is nothing in that soul that contends, argues, battles, or rises above. There is a deep-seated peace. There is a joy. There is a harmony. As we attain the atmosphere of God, whether we have worked our way up there through the temple meditation, or whether we have accomplished it by looking up into the hills around our city, up into the sky at night, into the stars, and about the moon, or whether we have attained it by a quiet walk by the lake, in the park, we find always the same thing: peace. A sense of peace and a sense of stillness and a sense of joy. No doubt you are having problems to meet in your personal life. There may still be evidences of illness, unhappiness, lack, discord of one name or nature or another. And in trying to meet these, you have known about all of the truth that you know. You have declared and stated all that you have found in Scripture and in the writings. And it may well be that the time now has come to lift yourself above might and power, even of declared truth, and rest more in the atmosphere of His Spirit, in that deep well of contentment. You might try it. Live through the temple meditation again. Or, having done that, take a walk out into the evening or late afternoon and find a quiet place to sit and meditate, perhaps even in some church that is not having a meeting. In quietness, in confidence, sit and wait. Be still. Just be still and wait and listen for the voice. You are not in need of any power with which to meet any problem. Your only need now is stillness, quietness, confidence, assurance, and these things come to you from within as a peace be still. And then, in this holy atmosphere of God, you behold the meaning of one. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.
Na minha aflição, eu clamei por Deus e Ele me respondeu. Eu gritei e Ele ouviu minha voz. Eu fui para as cidades embaixo da terra, para as pessoas do passado. Mas Ele me tirou com vida do túmulo. Ouça, Israel, o Senhor é Deus, o Senhor é único.
Ouça, Israel, o Senhor é Deus, o Senhor é único.
One being, one law, one life. The time is coming when the students of the infinite way will begin to understand God as one and will no longer attempt to use God, to use truth, or even to think of God as a power over error. Of old, only the priests were allowed to enter the Holy of Holies. But today, in our enlightenment, we know that spiritualized man is a priest. Every man is a priest as he attains spiritual consciousness, as he attains some measure of awareness of God. In attaining the inner sanctuary, the Holy of Holies, we are attaining the state of consciousness of the priest. That is, the one who not only serves God, but is supported by God. You see, the very robe of the priest, his emblem of office, is also the source of his supply. That is a little secret that we have in the message of the infinite way, that as you attain spiritual consciousness and awareness of God, you automatically put on the robe of priesthood, and then learn that your health unfolds from that robe, from that attained state of spiritual consciousness, and that your supply unfolds from the same source, not by might, nor by power, not by a struggle out in the world, but by the invisible robe you now wear. The invisible robe that denotes you have attained priesthood in consciousness. You have attained the spiritual state of consciousness from which now all your good will unfold. Oh, it is so beautiful to come to a place where there is no struggle, no strife, a place in consciousness from which we watch, behold, the very wonderful good of God revealing itself in our experience. This is the place in consciousness to which we are coming, because we look to the hills for our help. We look to our own enlightened state of consciousness. We look to the heights of spiritual development that we ourselves attain, and from the deep within we watch the beauties of God unfold unto the experiences of the without. Aloha, aloha, this is Joel.